Umbra's laughter filled the Wadi council chamber as he mocked the reports of a tiny primitive species called humans. He had no idea that his arrogant disdain for these unknown upstarts would soon become his empire's greatest regret. The Wadi were conquerors, a powerful alien race that had subjugated countless worlds across the galaxy. Their ruthless leader, Umbra, viewed all other species as inferior, mere playthings for Wadi domination. In his mind, no one could challenge their supremacy. So when the Wadi Council received intelligence about a new spacefaring race called humans, Umbra was more amused than concerned. He ridiculed their small stature and primitive technology. What threat could these insignificant creatures pose to the mighty Wadi? Umbra's hubris blinded him to the potential danger. He didn't know that the humans, while new to the galactic stage, were far more capable than they appeared. And he certainly didn't anticipate the tenacity and sheer determination that drove this fledgling species. Noah Simmons, captain of the first human ship to cross into Wadi territory, was about to give them a rude awakening. His mission was one of peaceful exploration and scientific study. But when Wadi warships surrounded his vessel near Zeden 5, he realized too late the perils that awaited him. The Wadi fired on the human ship without provocation, expecting an easy capture. Noah's quick reflexes and tactical cunning caught them off guard. He managed to disable 2 enemy fighters before a blast from a Wadi capital ship crippled his own craft. Outgunned and stranded, Noah and his crew were taken prisoner and transported to a detention center on Zeden 5. Umbra wanted them interrogated to gauge if these upstart humans presented any real challenge to Wadi conquest. Still, he didn't expect much from them. But Umbra miscalculated badly. The captive human commander was no easy nut to crack. Despite relentless questioning, Noah Simmons refused to divulge any intelligence about human space travel or colonies. His defiance both irritated and intrigued Umbra. Arrogantly assuming he could break the human's will, Umbra took personal charge of Noah's imprisonment. In his conceit, he wanted to make an example of this upstart creature. Crushing his spirit would send a message to any other species that dared defy Wadi rule. Umbra and the Wadi Council, puffed up with overconfidence in their own power, dismissed the captive humans as a trivial nuisance. A handful of imprisoned upstarts seemed insignificant compared to their ambitious plans for galactic domination. This arrogance would soon prove their undoing. What Umbra and his council failed to realize was that human ingenuity, grit, and sheer stubborn refusal to surrender in the face of overwhelming odds made them far more dangerous than they appeared. But they would learn this lesson the hard way. And they had no idea that their prisoner Noah Simmons was more than he seemed. He was no mere explorer but a super soldier, product of a top-secret human military program. Now he was the vanguard of a clash of civilizations that would reshape the galaxy forever. Umbra's mockery and mistreatment of the tiny humans he so foolishly underestimated was about to backfire spectacularly. The consequences of his arrogance would soon shatter the Wadi's confidence and ignite a war with an indomitable species determined to survive at any cost, a war whose outcome would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. In the dank, dimly lit Wadi holding cell, Noah Simmons sat cross-legged on the cold metal floor, his eyes closed in meditation. To the Wadi guards monitoring him, he appeared to be a broken man, resigned to his fate. But beneath that calm exterior, Noah's mind raced as he processed the information he had gleaned about his captors. The Wadi's advanced technology, he discovered, was heavily dependent on a rare mineral called zephyrium. It powered their ships, weapons, and the very infrastructure of their empire. And it was mined right here, deep within the core of Zeden 5. Noah's eyes snapped open as a plan began to form. If he could disrupt the zephyrium supply, it would deal a crippling blow to the Wadi's military might. It was a risky gambit, but it was the only chance he had. The opportunity presented itself sooner than expected. As the guards came to transfer him to another cell, Noah sprang into action. His genetically enhanced muscles tensed as he launched himself at the nearest guard, disarming him with a swift, precise strike. The second guard reached for his weapon, but Noah was faster. He leaped across the cell, his fist connecting with the guard's jaw with a sickening crunch. The wadi crumpled to the ground, his gun clattering across the floor. Noah scooped up the fallen weapon and raced down the corridor, his senses heightened by adrenaline. He quickly located the cells holding his crew and freed them, tossing them the captured wadi weapons. Together, they fought their way out of the facility, Noah's super soldier training proving more than a match for the wadi security forces. They emerged into the harsh, sun-scorched landscape of Zidane 5, breathing heavily, but alive. As they fled across the barren terrain, they stumbled upon a hidden rebel encampment. The Zidonians, it turned out, had been fighting a guerrilla war against the wadi for years. Their leader, a battle-hardened warrior named Zakar, regarded Noah with a mix of suspicion and respect. "You fight well for a human," Zakar grunted, his four eyes narrowing. "But why should we trust you?" Noah met his gaze unflinchingly. "Because we have a common enemy, and I have a plan to hit them where it hurts." As Noah outlined his scheme to sabotage the Zephyrium mines, Zakar's expression shifted from skepticism to grudging admiration. "You're either very brave or very foolish," he said. "But you have the spirit of a true warrior. We will fight alongside you." Armed with stolen wadi weapons and the rebels' knowledge of the terrain, Noah and Zakar led their combined forces in a daring infiltration of the main Zephyrium processing facility. They battled through layers of security, Noah's enhanced reflexes and the rebels' fierce dedication proving a potent combination. But their actions had not gone unnoticed. Umbra, enraged by the escape of his prize captives and the setback to his mining operation, ordered a massive manhunt. Wadi assault teams scoured the planet, hot on the trail of the human Zidonian alliance. As they closed in on the processing facility, Noah and Zakar uncovered the true depths of the wadi's cruelty. The Zephyrium mines were worked by slaves from conquered worlds, toiling in brutal conditions. The mineral was the lifeblood of the wadi's conquests, fueling their ships and weapons as they subjugated planet after planet. The stakes had never been higher. The fate of not just Zidane 5 but countless oppressed species across the galaxy hinged on their success. Despite the odds, they managed to penetrate the facility's defenses and plant explosives at key structural points. The charges were set, ready to bring the mine crashing down and cut off the wadi's Zephyrium supply at its source. But as they prepared to make their escape, a menacing figure emerged from the shadows, flanked by a phalanx of elite guards. It was Umbra himself, his eyes blazing with fury. "Did you really think you could defy me and live?" he snarled, his gaze fixed on Noah. "I will personally oversee your destruction, human, and when I'm done with you, your species will be next." Noah raised his weapon, his mind focused with iron purpose. Beside him, Zakar let out a bellowing war cry as the rebels tensed for battle. There, amidst the whirring machinery of the Zephyrium processing plant, the destiny of the universe would be decided. Noah Simmons, the super soldier who had started this rebellion, stood shoulder to shoulder with his Zidonian allies, ready to face the wrath of the Wadi Empire. The battle was about to begin. Noah and Zakar stood side by side, facing down Umbra and his elite guards in the heart of the Zephyrium facility. The air crackled with tension as both sides sized each other up. Umbra's eyes blazed with fury. "You dare challenge the might of the Wadi Empire? I will crush you insects beneath my heel." Noah's grip tightened on his weapon. "Your arrogance blinds you, Umbra. This ends now." With a roar, Umbra signaled his guards to attack. The cavern erupted into chaos as blaster fire lit up the dim space. Noah's enhanced reflexes allowed him to dodge and weave through the barrage, his own shots finding their marks with deadly precision. Zakar bellowed orders to his warriors, who fought with the desperation of those who had nothing left to lose. Their crude weapons clashed against the Wadi's advanced tech in a symphony of destruction. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupted from Umbra's position. Noah turned just in time to see Zakar crumple to the ground, a smoking hole in his chest. "No!" Noah shouted, rage flooding his system. He charged at Umbra, dodging energy blasts and leaping over fallen debris. Umbra sneered and tossed aside his weapon, meeting Noah's charge head-on. The two collided in a furious exchange of blows that echoed throughout the facility. Noah's fists slammed into Umbra's torso, while the Wadi leader's strikes glanced off the human's hardened frame. Back and forth they fought, neither giving ground. But slowly, imperceptibly, Noah began to gain the upper hand. His relentless assault wore down Umbra's defenses, each blow chipping away at the alien's confidence. With a final surge of strength, Noah grabbed Umbra and lifted him off his feet. He dangled the Wadi leader over the edge of a walkway, the swirling vortex of the Zephyrium reactor churning far below. "It's over, Umbra," Noah growled. "Surrender now or I drop you into that reactor." Fear flashed in Umbra's eyes for the first time. His voice quavered as he spoke. I yield. But know this, human. The Wadi Empire will never forgive this insult. We will have our revenge." Noah pulled Umbra back from the edge. "You'll live to see your empire fall." A low rumble shook the facility as the first explosives detonated. Noah's eyes widened. "We need to move! Now!" He scooped up the wounded Zakar and shouted for the remaining rebels to follow. They raced through collapsing corridors as chain reactions tore through the complex. Just as they cleared the main entrance, a massive explosion rocked the ground, sending them sprawling. Noah looked back to see the entire facility cave in on itself, burying the Zephyrium mines under tons of rock and metal. The Wadi's primary source of power was no more. In the days that followed, reports flooded in from across Wadi space. Without Zephyrium to fuel their war machine, the Empire's grip on its conquered worlds loosened. Rebellions sprang up everywhere, emboldened by the victory on Zidon 5. Umbra, once the scourge of the galaxy, now skulked in the shadows of his crumbling empire. As he watched everything he had built slip away, the truth of his folly finally sank in. He had gravely misjudged these humans and their allies. Meanwhile, word of Noah and Zakar's exploits spread like wildfire. Their unlikely partnership became a symbol of hope for the oppressed. Humans and Zidonians worked side by side, helping to liberate world after world from Wadi control. A new era dawned in the galaxy. The flames of resistance, sparked by human ingenuity and Zidonian courage, now burned bright across the stars. And it all began with one imprisoned super soldier who refused to give up. The destruction of the Zephyrium mining facility marked the beginning of a new era. Noah Simmons and Zakar stood atop a hill overlooking the ruins, their eyes fixed on the horizon. "This is just the start," Noah said, his voice filled with conviction. "We need to spread the word, rally others to our cause." Zakar nodded, his 4 eyes blinking in agreement. "My people have suffered under Wadi rule for generations. It's time we bring the fight to them." Over the next months, Noah and Zakar embarked on a whirlwind tour of occupied worlds. They slipped past Wadi patrols, met with resistance leaders in hidden bunkers, and planned daring strikes against key Wadi installations. On the desert world of Kiros, Noah used his enhanced strength to infiltrate a Wadi communications hub. He disabled the security systems, allowing Zakar and a team of local rebels to storm the facility. They broadcast a message of hope to nearby systems, igniting a wave of uprisings. Their next target was the ice planet Phrygia. Noah's tactical genius shone as he coordinated simultaneous attacks on multiple Wadi outposts. The rebels struck like ghosts, vanishing into snowstorms before the Wadi could mount an effective response. With each victory, their alliance grew stronger. Liberated worlds pledged their support, providing ships, weapons, and volunteers eager to join the fight. But their successes didn't go unnoticed. Umbra, seething with rage, dispatched his most brutal enforcer to crush the rebellion. General Krathak arrived on the jungle world of Verdant with a fleet of warships and orders to make an example of any who dared resist. Krathak's tactics were ruthless. He razed entire cities suspected of harboring rebels, leaving nothing but ash and sorrow in his wake. The smell of burning foliage filled the air as Wadi troops marched through the ruins. News of these atrocities reached Noah and Zakar as they prepared for their next mission. They knew they had to act fast or risk losing everything they'd fought for. "We can't let this continue," Noah said, poring over star charts. "We need to draw Krathak out, make him vulnerable." Zakar's eyes narrowed. "I know just the place, Markan." Noah nodded, remembering the caches of weapons and supplies he'd hidden there during a previous mission. It was perfect. They assembled an elite team, the best human soldiers and Zidonian warriors they could find. In secret, they traveled to Markan and began setting their trap. False information was leaked through Wadi channels, hinting at a major rebel base on Markan. Noah knew Krathak wouldn't be able to resist such a tempting target. Days later, Krathak's fleet appeared in Markan's orbit. As the Wadi ships moved into position, Noah gave the signal. Hidden emitters activated, bathing the Wadi fleet in precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses. Alarms blared across the Wadi ships as their engines failed. Krathak watched in horror as his mighty warships plummeted towards the planet's surface. On the ground, Noah and Zakar led the charge against the disoriented Wadi troops. Blaster fire lit up the night as rebels swarmed from hidden bunkers, overwhelming the invaders with superior numbers and tactics. In the chaos, Noah spotted Krathak trying to rally his forces. The Wadi general towered over his troops, roaring orders and cutting down rebels with brutal efficiency. Noah and Zakar fought their way through the melee, dodging energy blasts and leaping over fallen debris. They confronted Krathak in the burning wreckage of his command ship. The battle was fierce. Krathak's strength and skill matched Noah's enhanced abilities. Zakar darted in and out, striking at the Wadi general's weak points. For a moment, it seemed Krathak might prevail. He knocked Zakar aside and lunged at Noah with a roar of triumph. But Noah was ready. He sidestepped the attack and, in one fluid motion, struck Krathak with a devastating blow. The Wadi general crashed to the ground, stunned. Before he could recover, Noah and Zakar were on him, securing his arms with energy binders. As dawn broke over Markan, the rebels emerged victorious. Krathak, the scourge of a dozen worlds, was now their prisoner. Word of the victory spread rapidly. Systems that had hesitated to join the rebellion now clamored to throw off the Wadi yoke. The tide of the war had truly turned. Meanwhile, in a hidden bunker deep in Wadi space, Umbra received news of Krathak's defeat. He smashed the communication device in a fit of rage, his eyes blazing with hatred. "Simmons," he snarled, "this isn't over, not by a long shot." As Umbra plotted his revenge, Noah and Zakar pressed their advantage. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon, a battle that would determine the future of the cosmos. The Coalition fleet emerged from hyperspace above Kaldar, a swarm of ships dripping with weapons. Noah stood on the bridge of the lead vessel, his eyes fixed on the Wadi homeworld below. Beside him, Zakar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly, surveying the enemy defenses. "This is it," Noah said, his voice low. "Everything we fought for comes down to this moment." Zakar nodded, his gravelly voice filled with tenacity. "We end Umbra's tyranny today, my friend." Alarms blared as the Wadi defense grid activated. Energy beams lanced out from orbital platforms, striking the Coalition ships. Shields flared and hulls buckled under the assault. "All ships, engage!" Noah barked into the comm. "Punch a hole through their defenses." The space above Kaldar erupted in chaos. Coalition fighters swarmed from their carriers, meeting Wadi interceptors in a deadly dance. Larger ships exchanged broadsides, their weapons fire painting streaks of light across the void. Noah led his strike team to the hangar bay. As they boarded their assault shuttle, he addressed the grim-faced soldiers. "We've got one shot at this. Hit hard, hit fast, and don't let up until we reach Umbra." The shuttle rocketed from the hangar, weaving through the debris-strewn battlefield. Enemy fire peppered their shields as they made for Umbra's massive command ship. With a bone-jarring impact, they breached the hull and stormed inside. The corridors of the Wadi vessel rang with the sounds of battle. Noah's enhanced reflexes allowed him to duck and weave through enemy fire, his own shots finding their marks with lethal precision. His team fought with cold efficiency, pushing deeper into the ship. They encountered Umbra's Praetorian Guard in a vast chamber filled with swirling holograms. The elite Wadi warriors charged, wielding energy staves crackling with power. Noah ducked under a sweeping blow, countering with a vicious uppercut that sent his attacker flying. Around him, his soldiers clashed with the guards in a furious melee. The air filled with the hum of energy weapons and the cries of the wounded. A Praetorian staff caught Noah in the ribs, sending a jolt of pain through his body. He stumbled but recovered quickly, catching the next strike and using the guard's momentum to hurl him into a control panel. Slowly but surely, Noah's team gained the upper hand. The last of the Praetorians fell, leaving a trail of bodies in their wake. Panting heavily, Noah led the survivors toward the command deck. They found Umbra there, standing amidst a sea of frantically working subordinates. The Wadi leader's eyes blazed with hatred as he beheld Noah. "You miserable human vermin! Look what you've done to my empire!" Noah stepped forward, his voice steady. "Your empire was built on the suffering of countless worlds, Umbra. It deserves to fall." With a roar of rage, Umbra charged. Noah met his assault head-on, the two leaders locked in mortal combat. They traded blows that would have felled lesser beings, neither willing to yield. Noah's fist smashed into Umbra's face, sending the Wadi stumbling back. Before he could press his advantage, Umbra lashed out with a hidden blade, opening a gash across Noah's chest. Blood streaming from the wound, Noah pressed on. He ducked under Umbra's wild swing and delivered a devastating combination of strikes to the alien's midsection. Umbra wheezed, his strength failing. Just as Noah prepared to end it, alarms blared throughout the ship. Umbra's mad laughter filled the air as he slammed his hand down on a nearby console. "If I can't have my empire," Umbra snarled, "then no one will." Noah's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. The ship's reactor was going critical. He had mere moments to escape. With one last look at his defeated foe, Noah turned and ran. He shouted into his comm, ordering all coalition forces to withdraw immediately. As he sprinted through the corridors, the ship shuddered and groaned around him. Noah and his remaining soldiers piled into their battered shuttle, just as the first explosions rocked the command ship. They sped away, narrowly escaping the massive fireball that consumed Umbra's vessel. From the cockpit, Noah watched as the Wadi fleet, now leaderless and demoralized, began to surrender en masse. The battle for Kaldar and the fate of the galactic realm was over. Hours later, Noah stood with Zakar on the ruined surface of the Wadi homeworld. The once proud cities lay in smoldering ruins, a testament to the cost of their victory. "We won," Zakar said softly, "but at what price?" Noah surveyed the destruction, his heart heavy. "Freedom always comes at a cost, my friend. Now we have to make sure it was worth it."
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.